Well, hello everyone, and welcome to 7 Steps to 7 Figures and Beyond. I'm so excited to be with you today because we're going to go over some important information that will truly make a difference in your business. We had a webinar yesterday about vision to victory. Some of you registered actually for both. We did 2 different ones for a reason. Vision to victory, which will be up on YouTube, as a matter of fact, so you can see it. That webinar is ideal for people who are just in the planning process. And then 7 figures and beyond would be really for both. It will prepare those of you who are getting ready to open for things you need to know. And if you're already in business, it's definitely going to be an eye-opener for you for the things that you should be doing, which this also will be on YouTube. Now, both of these webinars are actually previews of the seminars that we're going to have this year in Daytona Beach, Florida. They're all going to be 2-day seminar events. So these preview events are to give you an idea of what we would be going over during those 2-day seminars. So we're barely going to scratch the surface. Of course, the 2-day events will be a lot more intense, but at least I wanted to get you started and get going in the right direction right now. So welcome, so excited to have you here. A little bit about us in case you're new to InSPAration Management and my team. We have been doing this for 23 years. Our whole focus is to help people like yourself open a business and run it successfully and reach those 7 figures and multiple 7 figures the fastest way possible. Now, we have some gifts for you. If you haven't received my latest book yet, you should grab it. You can go to InSPArationManagement.com. It's a great book to have in your success library. We also have the capacity calculator, which is a very important tool for you to download right from our homepage to show you the true potential of how much money you could really generate from even just one room. It's amazing. So you should really use it. It's all pre-formatted and pre-calculated for you to see your true potential. And then, of course, our YouTube channel is filled with hundreds of videos. We've been doing videos before really anyone in our industry was doing videos. So you can go there and watch all sorts of educational programs to help you also with your business. And then we have a success planning session where you can get together with one of our coaches to see where you are now with your business and how they can help you, again, get there the fastest way possible. That's a value of $250. So make sure you go and claim all these gifts so you can kickstart this year on the right path. So let's go over these 7 steps to get you into multiple millions. Here's the content we're going to go over today. I'm going to actually share with you the business model that we teach our members. It's going to be, of course, an overview of what that model looks like. But people who have implemented that model have reached 7 figures very, very quickly. So I'm going to go over that with you. We'll discuss positioning and marketing, effective sales strategies, how to hire talented people so they can help you reach that target, and then, of course, how to deliver that great wow experience. Those are all steps to get you to those 7 figures. We'll be discussing some financials so you can be profitable, because the fact is there's probably some of you on a presentation with us today who might already be in 7 figures, but you're not making any money. It's like, how can you generate millions and not make any money? I'm sure there are some of you out there. We see it all the time. And then, of course, how important is it to invest in education? So grab a pen and a paper and let's go ahead and get started. But I like to know who our audience is, so please take a poll. I have Nakia here helping with Zoom. I have Danny on social media. We have John, our production director. And they're all helping me put this on for you from our studio in Daytona Beach, Florida, in our corporate office. We film all of our educational material right here. So how many of you are already generating 7 figures? Let's say 1 million. And then how many of you are generating multiple 7 figures? And then if you're not, then just simply say, I want to step into that millionaire circle. So go ahead and take a poll. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes here, and then Nakia can tell us what the results are. Sounds good? All right, we'll get everybody to answer so we can get a percentage of who is in our audience and what exactly are they doing. So I just did a newsletter. You know, we put out a newsletter on the first of each month. And I just did the most recent newsletter about your entrepreneurial journey. You should go to YouTube and watch it. It's very good. It takes you through the whole process of what entrepreneurs like myself and you go through as business owners. Now, we meet all kinds of people. And in the last 23 years, we've met all kinds of people, literally. So we have some entrepreneurs that take it upon themselves to figure things out on their own because they don't want any help. They just want to do everything their way. And they end up spending so much time trying to figure things out. So instead of reaching success so quickly, they may end up reaching it, but it may take them a lot longer. Just like those people I'm talking about where they're already making millions, generating gross revenue in millions, but they're not making any money. There's something wrong with that picture. And again, our whole thing here at InSPAration Management is to get you there the fastest way possible. That's really what it's all about. You want to get into business, you want to generate a ton of money, and then you need to plan your exit strategy and go to Fiji. That's hopefully where I'll be next year. So you better benefit now because I'm not going to be around much longer. I just announced my retirement. Don't you guys like that? No. My team is going to take over and I'm going to go on my yacht and travel. That's my goal. What is yours? All right, let's talk about that 7-figure model. And I have to tell you, the first million is probably the most difficult to get to. And once you get to your first million, then the rest really is much easier. So here's the process that we teach all of our members, and all the components of this business model are all on Metspa Biz University. That is our platform where all our videos and manuals and audios and tools and everything that you need to reach 7 figures is on that platform. But let me give you a snapshot of what this is like. So the first thing we always talk about is, and I'm going to go over it a little bit more in depth, but I'll just give you a quick little overview. So your positioning is definitely very important. What do people think of you once they meet you, or once they discover you, or once they get to your website? What are those opinions? Number 2 is marketing, your marketing efforts. How do you actually gain leads that you then turn into a consultation? So your lead management is a very key part of the business model. And then your consultation process, we believe in hiring a person to specifically do consultations. We call them treatment and product specialists, and that's their entire job. Responsibility is just to do consultations. And then we talk a lot about delivering a great guest experience. As a matter of fact, I was doing a private training this morning with one of our high achiever members. That's our highest level of membership. And in working with their team and listening to their language, you know, I had to sit there and make corrections, because how people again perceive us, how we communicate with them, the tone, the language, the positioning, the appearances make such a big difference. Because when we deliver that wow experience, then people are going to stay with us. because you're taking great care of them, because they see you as a classy organization. It makes a huge, huge difference. And then, of course, this is probably one of my favorite things, is the recurring revenue model, where you have a VIP program to actually sign them up. And then, of course, to elevate the lifetime value of each client. So you want them to stay with you for a long time. So that way you're reducing your marketing costs, you're increasing the lifetime value of each client, and you have great retention. And that's really what being in business is all about. You want to keep growing, and you want to keep gaining momentum as the years go by. And the more momentum you have, the better off you're going to be. So positioning is definitely key. Now, number 2 is marketing and positioning. Number 1 was your whole business model. So number 2 is marketing and positioning. And I want to introduce you to probably the fastest growing company. These guys are just amazing. So they started out with us literally during COVID. It was shut down. They live in Canada. They had just purchased a medical spa that was not doing well, and they purchased it. And their very first year, they reached their first million. They've been members for 3 years. Their second year, they reached 2 million. The third year, they reached 3 millions. And this is their fourth year, and they'll end up doing around 4 million this year. So that's the kind of momentum you want to go through. So this is Dr. Omani, and this is his wife, Melissa. They have a place called Med Aesthetics. They live in this little town in Canada. People tell me all the time, I'm in a little town, I can't do this. Yes, you can, because if they can, so can you. So how did they do that? They did it because they literally followed the entire model that we teach. Before they opened, they put their entire team through, when it was the shutdown, they put them all through Med Spa Biz University, and they literally had to sit there like they went to college. They have an MBA now. And they literally had to learn everything. So everybody knows who they are in that town. So expertise is definitely a very important part of marketing. You don't have to spend a lot of money on marketing. It's all how you position yourself. It's how your branding, your image, your facility, that whole experience, whether it's offline in your facility or whether it's online. Your team skills. So how are your team members presenting themselves? What is their skill level? Are they babbling, or do they really know how to communicate with your clients? That guest experience, again, the results that you produce, and then of course all your marketing efforts that lead into sales. So when you do that, you will be in 7 figures, and then you will be in multiple 7 figures, and ultimately that's really where you want to be. But let me tell you a little secret that they implemented from what we teach that made a huge difference, again, in their business. I'm always telling people this, and some people listen and some people don't. So the part that Dr. Omani implemented was hiring a marketing person internally. If you want to get into 7 figures, you have got to have your own marketing person. Because if you can just count on the marketing company you hire, it's not going to work. You're going to be fake. They're going to be using stock images. It's not real. It's not personal. Where Parker comes to our monthly meeting every month with Dr. Omani, with Brooke, the manager, and with Melissa sometimes, and we all get on the Zoom meeting and we plan all the marketing strategies that they need to do. We usually work about 2 to 3 months in advance, and then Parker goes to town creating all the material and following exactly the steps that we go over during our Zoom meeting. And I have to tell you, Marketing is one of the most important things because you can have the most beautiful place, but if no one is walking in, you're not going to be helping anybody. So marketing and sales are the two things that you have to have in place in order to reach, whether it's your first million or whether it's your fourth or your fifth, you've got to do that. You've got to do that. These guys, over the Christmas season, we do a 12 days of Christmas. They did it this year. They did $287,000 in the 12 day of Christmas promotion. I would love to know who did almost 300,000 over Christmas doing just a 12 days or whatever promotion you did. I would love to know if anybody else did it. Isn't that amazing? And again, if they can do it, then so can you. So can you. And I wanted to share this with you because it is real. I'm not just telling you, oh, you can do this and you can do that without social proof. This is like a fact. So you can do it too, my friends. And that's really what you need to do. You just have to have that blueprint to get there. I see we have some questions, so I can take a minute here and answer some.
Oh, yes. So, first of all, I want to give some shout outs here because we have quite a few people on and some very familiar faces.
Oh, nice.
We have Kai on the line. We have Bianca Moon, Yesenia,
Nice.
Tracy S. Come on, guys. Keep filtering in for us. Dr. Ibarra. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we have Tyrell here. He wants to know how they can become members like Metaesthetics and how can they have that monthly call as well.
Well, that's actually the best way to do that is to go to our website. And if you click on the ready to fly tab on the website, you'll be able to see all the different membership levels that we have and be able to reach out to one of my team members to discuss it with them. I don't want to take away time, valuable time to explain that because this is not a sales call. This is a call for me to help you. So my team is available. So after this, you can call in and they can go over all the details with you. Thank you though for your question. All right. So let me just keep going here with the marketing, and then when we break again, I'll take some more questions. So it starts with the number of leads. When we're talking about marketing, you've got to know your numbers. You've got to know your numbers. And if you don't know them, you're in trouble. You're winging it, and you don't want to wing it. So the focus should be on, if you have that marketing person, if you have a marketing company, it's all about how many leads are we getting per day, per week, per month, per year. Then once we know that, then we need to find out how many calls are we receiving from those leads. What is the reach out from that marketing effort? Then after we know the number of calls, then we need to say, okay, well, how many consultations did we convert into from those amount of calls? How many consultations alone and how many consultations with actual appointments? Then you need to know what is the revenue per consultation or appointment. What are you averaging from that effort that your marketing team or your marketing company actually generated? Then, of course, you want to track your retention. Hopefully, you have a membership model that will allow you to increase the retention. And then, how long are you keeping each client? If you don't drill down into those numbers, then again, you're winging it. And that's not going to take you very far. Like, I need to know every day. I'm always harping on my team. Every single day, I want these reports. How many leads did we generate today? You should be the same way. Because if you don't know how many leads are coming in, then you don't know the pulse of your business. If you have days that you're not generating leads, well, your business is going to plateau and eventually go down. And you don't want that to happen. So paying attention to the numbers is definitely key. So I want to do another poll, and then I would love to hear the answer from the first one, Nikia. I would love to know, if you were to have a moment of truth right now, what would you give your marketing and your positioning efforts on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 is poor, 10 is great. What would you give yourself? I would love it if you just put it in the chat box and see where you stand with that. And then what are you going to do to improve it? And, you know, I want to, again, spark a thought in your mind to, am I generating enough leads? Am I attracting the right people? Am I selling them after I attract them? What are we doing with them? And most often we find out that you don't have a good lead management system in place. And that's not good. You got to have a good lead management system and a conversion system. And that all takes training. So there's 2 positions in your place that definitely need to be trained properly for them to perform those duties. One is your guest relations, or you might call them patient coordinators or receptionists or whatever. We call them guest relations. So you need to make sure that that person that's answering the phone, the person that's following up on the leads, the person that's trying to generate buzz in your community or respond to these social media outreach knows what the heck they're doing. Right now, this is what happens, I guarantee you. How much is your Botox per unit? Oh, it's $11. Okay, click. That's how they answer. That's not the way we answer that question. No. So those folks, they mean well, but they need proper training. And creating training material is very time consuming. It takes forever. So that's what I call reinventing the wheel, where you have to sit down and think about what you want to train them on and what should they say and where's the script. And imagine instead having somebody give you a manual, give you a video, give you an audio, give you all the tools you need, the scripts, so you can set yourself up for success. The other position is the consultation process. You guys leave so much money on the table because not many people do a proper consultation. You do the, what I call the a la carte consultation. So somebody calls up, I want Botox, they come in, you barely do a consultation, you barely look at their face, you inject them and then they leave. Well, you've just left thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on the table. Instead, we have the sacred system where we teach you exactly how you should be doing a consultation, where you can include multiple modalities, involves different departments based on what their needs are, and now you're doing right by the client, you're filling up all the time slots for your team, and you're having your revenue coming in, and everybody is happy. So why you want to get into 7 figures? How you're going to get into 7 figures is by having all these steps in place and a well-trained team, because you can't do it alone. You cannot do multiple 7 figures alone. You got to have the team with you, and you have to have a sales strategy, a marketing strategy, and a sales strategy. So the 2 things you want to teach them how to sell is how to convert get to know you consultations into high ticket programs. You want to be able to upgrade and sell retail products so you can increase your sales. And then you want to have member enrollments. So you have 3 things. We can't count at InSPAration Management, so we have 1, 2, and 4. And this presentation has been edited. I need to talk to my team. how can we count? 1, 2, 3. Yes, we are. They had too much to drink before this event. So I catch things like that. So I want to tell you another story about Beth. Beth is an amazing young lady. She's been actually with us for about, we were trying to figure that out the other day when she was on Meet the Experts show with me. I think it was 13 or 14 years. She started out in one room. She was renting one room in a doctor's office. And then she started expanding. She started implementing. She started growing. Well, now she has a full-blown team of I don't know how many people, maybe up to 20 people. I think that's, 20 people. And she expanded like immediately in like 4.5 years. And now she has a multiple $1-million business, super profitable. She goes out and plays tennis like 5 times a week. She barely goes to work anymore. She's a published author. This is her second book. I've helped her write 2 books. And she just launched her own skincare line, her own private label. And now she's promoting it to other people, not just selling it to consumers, but she has a sales team now where she's selling the skincare product to other medical spas like you. So that is so possible. Again, I wanted to show you what is possible. How can you go from one room to multiple millions of dollars in a short period of time? It's possible if you follow, again, a proven effective model instead of reinventing that wheel. And again, if she can do it, so can you. So can you. So I want to invite you all to come and join us for these seminars, because that's what all these people have in common. They've all attended events. They're all learning and implementing and building a strong team. And that's how you get to multiple 7 figures. But if you think that you're going to be able to do it without actually following that blueprint, will you get there? Maybe eventually, but who has time to waste? Like, the competition is so fierce right now that you'll get squished like a little fly on a windshield. What was it? Is it Kevin? What's his name from Shark Tank that always says, you're gonna get squished like a bug? Kevin O'Leary. So really, take the time, go to InSPArationManagement.com. We're doing a great special for these 2 days only, where you can buy 1 ticket, get 1 free. We have several seminars coming up. They're all for different things. So you need to choose the seminar that's best for you and then join us. So you can't go wrong, you guys. It's beautiful to be able to hang out with people just like yourself, learn, have fun, be entertained, and go back and start implementing and start reaching a whole new level of success. Yes?
Yes, Cindy with us on Facebook. She says, I'm interested in these seminars. I just opened, but I'm not super profitable. Which seminar do you suggest is best for me?
Well, if you're already open, definitely the 7 steps for 7 figures. And that would be the one in February. So it's coming up sooner than later. So you definitely need to go to that one to get you armed with all the systems that you need to implement. And then you'll be set to go. So that would definitely be the ideal one for you. Yeah. All right. So recruiting and hiring talented people is so key. And the higher the level of skills of the team and the more coachable they are. They have to be coachable, because if they can get on the Zoom meeting with us, or they go on Med Spa Biz University and they're not into learning and they're not coachable, you're not going to be able to sustain keeping them, first of all, because they're doing things their own way. and you're going to need to fire them and end up rehiring, and then you'll fire again. So one of the things that we even ask members before that we even let you join is, are you coachable? Because if you're not coachable, I don't want you to waste your money, and I don't want to waste my time or my team's time. We want to work with people who are coachable, and you need to be the same way. So when you're interviewing people, you need to ask that question. Are you willing to learn new things? Are you good at implementing new things that you learn? And when you do that, then you're going to end up with a bunch of A players. And that's really who you want on your team if you want to get into multiple 7 figures. You don't want C players. That's not going to help you. You want at least A and B players on your team. And your goal as a leader is to take the B players and turn them into A players. And when you have a bunch of A players on your team, nothing can stop you. You're going to be winning a championship. And that's what happens when you build a great team that's willing to practice, show up, learn, watch plays, just like they do in sports, exactly the same way. And the more your team is engaged in the game of medical spa, then you will reach multiple 7 figures. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. Yes.
We have Tracy here. She's wondering about marketing. How much should you budget for an internal marketing person?
So it depends on whether, of course, they're full-time or part-time. The rule of thumb on marketing is you need to invest at least 10% of your gross revenue into marketing. So there is a method on how you set up compensation models for your marketing team. The marketing person that's on your team should get paid a lower hourly rate, like maybe, depends again on their talent, whether they can edit videos, can they do graphic design, can they update your website, can they do posts, can they take pictures. So you need to go on like salary.com, see what the range of pay is for a marketing person. Then what you want to do is make the average low on the hourly, and then you want to give them bonuses based on the number of leads they help you generate and a percentage of revenue based on the conversion rate of those leads. So the marketing person should really get paid on performance. And we have an entire compensation model that we teach for that. So it's all about what value do they bring in and how can you reward them. As a matter of fact, every employee you will have on your team should be providing value for the business. If they're not providing value and they're a cost, you need to say goodbye to them. They should not be on the team. So really, employees are an extension of an investment that you make in your business. And your duty is to invest in them to get them to perform at a level where they are a value and not a cost to you. So as far as giving you an exact amount, it really all depends on where you live. Every state is like, if you lived in California, of course you have to pay them more than if they lived in Alabama or wherever. Nothing against Alabama. But it really all makes a difference. But that's how you want to set it up, on a performance-based compensation model. So great question, though. The hiring process, that's really where everything starts. So we have a system called the Clarity Hiring System. And I hear from people sometimes, they call me up and they say, my people are this, and those people, they call them those people. That's how unhappy they are with their team. They don't want to do this, they don't want to do that. They're always showing up late. They do barely just what they need to do. All those belly aching things, the things that keep you up at night, and you just don't understand why. Well, that's because you didn't do the right interview process. So if you start from very beginning and you're as clear as possible with what your expectations are, and everything is in writing, and they understand that you are a goal-driven company, that you want to have them attend training, that you have targets and expectations, and you have rewards and bonuses based on those them achieving those targets and expectations. And if everything is clear from the very beginning, then you don't have to worry about having all these feelings and frustrations and overwhelm. So hiring people from the beginning and onboarding them properly can make such a huge difference, because replacing people is very, very, very costly. You don't want to go there. Does that make sense? All right.
We're getting some likes on Instagram.
Okay, we like that. Then number 5 is delivering that wow experience. So you can't deliver a wow experience if you're cheap, because then you don't have money to invest in the experience. So my advice to you is to be expensive. You don't want to be cheap. If you're cheap, then you're going to be a Walmart. That's not a very nice experience going to Walmart. I hate Walmart. I don't like to go shopping at Walmart. I prefer to go to higher end places. I pay more, but that's okay. I like it. I like paying more. Don't you? Yeah, a lot of people like paying more because they expect more. You can stay at whatever, the Holiday Inn or whatever hotels, or you can go and stay at the Ritz-Carlton or the Four Seasons. I stayed at the Four Seasons in Australia when I went to visit my son this summer. I was facing the opera right in Sydney. Oh my gosh, like why wouldn't I want to stay there? Was it expensive? Yes. Did the girl at the restaurant for breakfast knew my name by the second day? Hello, Dori, how are you today? She did. She knew my name the very second day. I like that. That's not cheap. That's expensive, but it's worth it. And if you're expensive, you're going to attract these kind of people. And these kind of people are going to pay more. So you actually work less and you make more. Isn't that much better? It is. Don't be cheap. Let other fools be cheap. You need to be expensive. Deliver that top-notch experience. So, like companies like this. So, Apple. Do you ever see Apple have a sale? Seriously. Have you ever seen Apple do a sale? They do an offer once a year, and that's on Black Friday. They give you a gift card. They use one of our strategies, actually. They give you a gift card on Black Friday. There is no other sales. How about Starbucks? Everybody thought Howard Schultz was crazy and nuts to charge $5 for a cup of coffee. Now there's a Starbucks on every corner, and people are paying 8, 9, 10. I had a lady in front of me the other day. Her coffee was over $12. I'm like, what the heck is in that thing? For a coffee. People pay it. Going to Tiffany, do you ever see sales there? No. Tesla? Do they ever discount? I love the Tesla experience, shopping experience. Do you know how you buy your Tesla? You go into a store in the mall, they have a big screen like this, and you just select all your options and you buy it. There's no haggling, there's no discounts, there's no kicking the tires, you just buy it. So don't worry about being cheap. Worry about being profitable. And to be profitable, you have to charge more. Because Allergan just raised their prices again. They just love to do that. And if you're still selling Botox for $10, you're not going to make any money. So I would rather work less, make more, charge more and make more than to work harder, charge less, and be broke. We're like, where's the logic in that? There is no logic. So pricing is key to stepping into those multiple seven figures. You're not going to get into multiple seven figures charging a low amount. Trust me, that does not work. So that's why you have to really pay attention to your profit line. You want to make sure that you're priced high enough so you can cover all your expenses, your payroll, your product cost, and still end up with a nice profit that also you pay yourself and the business is profitable. Now it's worth taking the risk of being in business, because being in business is tough. It's tough, especially getting started. I mean, it's hard. But once you get going and you have your ducks in a row and the business is running on autopilot, then you can relax, take a deep breath, go on vacations and not have to worry about things. And that's really why you go into business to begin with. So that's what you want to keep in mind. So money is a very important matter. You need to forecast. What is it that you want to do every single month? And this time of the year is a perfect time to do that. Actually, any time of the year is perfect to start. And then you have to have that performance-based compensation model. And you've got to have a recurring revenue model. You got to have money coming in all the time. So if you have a period like we had with COVID, I have to tell you, my members, clients like yours, that had a membership floated through COVID because they still had money coming in. They didn't go out of business like other people. That's your business insurance. Having that nice income coming in on monthly basis releases that tension and pressure, and you can mess up some month and still do okay. And that's why you need that. And that's how you get to multiple seven figures. Yeah, you have a question?
We do. Okay. We have Samantha here. She says, no one on my staff likes to sell anything. What can I do to change that?
Fire them! No. Just kidding. No. Well, it starts with the mindset. And we have a program called Don't Sell, Recommend. Because truly, a lot of the people in the medical profession, they don't like to sell. And they come from an insurance-based practice usually. And when you're in an insurance-based, you don't have to sell crap. But when you come to a cash business, now everything is a little bit different. So you need to start with the mindset and the goals and the purpose and the passion and why they're doing what they're doing. And then you have to teach them a system. We have a system called the Pride System that helps them through the process of finding out concerns and then offering solutions, offering recommendations. Nobody likes to sell. I mean, nobody likes to sell. Nobody likes to be sold. Like you go into a store, people come up to you. How can I help you? Or do you need some help? Or may I help you? And what do you say to them? No thanks. You could be there to buy something and you still say no thanks. I can't believe they still ask that question, actually. I'm shocked. Or they ask you, are you looking for something special? Like, no, I'm looking for crap. What do you mean I'm looking for? So everybody needs to be trained. Everybody needs to be trained. So you train them, to answer your question, you train them, you give them the tools, you implement the system, the Pride System, and then you give them some time to get on board and to start producing. And then you coach them and you train them and coach them and train them some more. And if they step up and they do well, you keep them. If they don't, then it's time to separate. But at least give them a chance to learn something that's going to help you produce the results. I bet you anything they're not trained. So they need training. Yeah. All right. So the financial ratios, I showed this yesterday also in a webinar because it is a very important part of your financial picture. And there are 4 financial ratios that you need to pay attention to every single month on your profit and loss statement, on your P&L statements. And they are your product operating expenses, your compensation, your product cost, and then how much profit you're getting to keep. You need to know what those financial ratios are. So when you get your P&L statement, you need to look at it and you need to see how much you're spending in each one of these categories. One of the biggest problem I see is product cost. And do you know why it appears so high on P&L statements? It's not that your product cost is so high, it's because you're not charging enough. So if you charge more, your product cost gets reduced. And when we first start working with people, when I look at their first P&L statement, I see product cost as high as sometimes 50%. That means out of each dollar that comes in, 50 cents is going to just buying the products to do the treatments. And if you're there, you're gonna fail. This is not a good picture. You need to make adjustments. And that's why it's important to monitor your numbers. Very, very important. All right. So one more slide and then I'll take a couple more questions. The last thing is to invest in yourself. You know, it's one thing I've practiced for years and years and years. Ever since I entered my professional career, this is actually my second one. I spent 18 years in the hospitality industry. I was 19 years old when I started. I didn't know diddly squat. I knew nothing. And then I became a student. I started attending every single seminar that came to Orlando. I bought every cassette tape back then. Remember the cassettes? I had them all over my car. I turned my car into a university. I would read, I would listen, I would go to events, I would invest. And as I grew in my career, then I started investing in mastermind groups where they're very expensive. So I would spend $50,000, $60,000 being in these groups of like-minded people. So investing in education has definitely paid off for me and my company. If I don't invest in education, how can I stand here and be able to speak with you and help you? I couldn't. How can I have a successful company if I did not invest in education? I would not. I would be broke, not living the lifestyle that I live. And I love my lifestyle. So do I mind investing in education? Absolutely not. I just paid $12,000 for only 2 months access to a marketing company that's going to teach me all kinds of things. Just for 2 months. Like, we only charge $1,500 a month. I need to raise my prices. So you've got to do that. If you want to keep growing, you have to keep learning new things, because what got you here is not going to get you there. You need new strategies, new innovation. You've got to do that because, you know, I always say this, they did not teach you business in medical school. It's not your fault that you don't know. But what you do need is awareness that, yes, I do need to invest in business education. All of you are great at what you do. You all have that clinical skill. You can create magic. But when it comes to business, if you don't have that blueprint, just like you invested in your medical school, you need to invest in your business school. And that's what MedSpa Biz University is all about. When you make that investment, you have that blueprint, then you're able to follow it. You know, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just being very honest with you. I'm doing these webinars because I like to give back to the community. So yes, I give up 1 hour of my time, talk to you, give you some tips. Hopefully you've taken away some important information that you can put to work right away. But at the end of the day, again, our goal is to get you to success the fastest way possible. So we have perfected the whole model. And if I don't tell you about it, I would be cheating you out of your fast success. So that's why I'm standing here. So if you want to join us and come to these seminars and learn and grow, great, God bless. If not, that's okay too. I've enjoyed having you as a participant here with us today. So really the choice is yours. Do what you wish, but my advice is to invest in yourself, in your team, so you can actually reach multiple 7 figures. So that's what I have for you today. I'd love to take a few more questions and then we'll call it a day. It's almost happy hour.
Yes, Dr. Lucas here over on Facebook says, I was on the presentation yesterday and I want to thank you for all your knowledge. This has been such an eye-opener.
Thank you.
And I know that I don't have all the things that you're talking about. I know that I want to hire a new team, but I don't know how to pay for them. And so I was wondering, what are your recommendations and where should I go from here?
Okay. Well, the compensation model is definitely a very important thing to set up properly from the very beginning. We sometimes spend half of our time correcting compensation. I had somebody the other day that was hiring a brand new nurse injector. I'm like, okay, so how are you going to pay them? Oh, I was going to give her $100,000 a year. I'm like, for just showing up? She's like, yeah. Well, no. I'm like, no, that's not what we do. We don't just give out 6-figure income for just showing up. You have to make all the compensation performance-based. You really do. So we believe in setting up a compensation mix where you get an hourly rate, you get bonuses based on revenue per client or performance targets, you get benefits, and then you get rewards on key performance indicators. So there is definitely a process to set up a smart compensation model. And these are some of the things that we help you do either a la carte or as a member. If you're a member, by the way, you get to come to these seminars for free. You don't have to pay anything for them. And you gain access to all the tools. So we have a program for compensation called the volume per guest compensation model. And in that program, I basically take you step by step on how to set up a compensation model for every single position in your place and teach you how to implement it and teach you how to track it and how to make sure that the team is being measured based on those metrics and how everybody becomes happy based on their performance. Because if you're hiring the right people to begin with, they will love a performance-based compensation model. So the answers are definitely here. You just have to gain access to them. So give us a call and so we can learn a little bit more about you and then we can show you what would be the best program. Or you can just go to the shop and get the volume per guest compensation model. But if you're a member, again, you get it for free.
This is like a 2-for-1. Jessica and Dr. Brachet have a similar question. I see many ads for virtual assistants to contact clients. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts? Is it safe to hire them from the Philippines? Any opinion on that?
Yes, it's a big trend right now. So there's a lot that goes into that. There are people that you can hire, and we've even tried this, by the way. It has not been so successful for us because we're very, I guess, picky. It would be that would be the word. But you know what? For a guest relations, I don't think that's a good idea because you really want that person there. You want to be able to hear what they're saying, how they're handling those leads. Maybe for a personal assistant for yourself, you can do something like that. But as far as like your main hub, like that guest relations team member is the most important position you have in your place. It is like so important. So the last thing I would want is to have somebody be in a totally different country. Now, if you want to do a call center where they're calling out, they're doing outgoing calls. Like I have a client, Olivia Quido. She sells skincare products. She generates millions of dollars, and she has 24 virtual assistants. But all they're doing is calling out from webinars that she does of people reaching out who are loving her skincare products. She was at our last seminar, by the way, and she was telling everybody how successful this is. And she literally generates millions from these ladies calling and selling skincare products. So that I am all for. Or maybe they're calling existing clients and they're selling them memberships. That you could definitely do. But they need to be trained and they need to be monitored. So if you do that, then yes. But as far as the guest relations itself, I would vote against that.
Currently, my annual revenue is $400,000. My goal is to reach 1.5 million by the end of the year. What do you teach that will help me attain this goal?
Everything I just showed you. Yes, you have to implement a model. You have to definitely go through those 7 steps that we talked about. Actually, it's right here. You need to do exactly that. And each one of these steps has a system and a process in place, and the training that goes with it, with the right position and the right person doing it. That is so achievable, actually. If you're already at 400,000, you're on your way. You're doing good. So now it's just a matter of perfecting what you are doing so you can get to that next level. So it's definitely doable. But this is what you're going to be doing right here. Yeah. Yeah, what were the polls?
Okay.
But I know that somebody else had a question.
Yes, we had Tim over here. He said that this has been really helpful, and when I get into training, am I able to rewatch the videos? Because I feel like it's so much information, and I'm not going to be able to digest it all at one time.
Well, it depends on what it is. Of course, you can go on YouTube and watch them over and over, or you can be a member, and then everything is on MedSpa Biz University.
Okay, so for our poll results,
Give her a drum roll.
7 steps to 7 figures. We have 87% of you at I wish I am at 6 figures.
Okay. That's why you need to come and join us.
And for our do you have a business plan yet? We have 67% at yes, 33% at no.
Interesting. I think the question was, what was one? The other one was about positioning. How good are they doing on their marketing?
We have that as well. We had 18% at 1. 14% at 2. 27% at 3. 14% at 4. And 18% at 5.
Wow. Okay. Well, you guys need to come to that other seminar we have on marketing, advanced marketing mastery. That would be a great thing for you if you're not doing that well on marketing. So, all right, I'll take one more question and then we'll call it a day.
What are some tips to improve my positioning, Dori?
So, one of my favorite things is definitely content marketing. You need to definitely come up with a plan on how you can generate content. And with ChatGPT right now, it's so easy to blog, create videos, create webinars, write articles, get published, write a book. Those are all ways to improve your positioning. You're going to have to block time in your schedule to actually do those things. Or if you hired your marketing person, then your marketing person can step in and try to help you with some of these things. So that's a good question, a good place to actually end on. So I need you all to just go to InSPArationManagement.com to sign up for the seminar. You're going to get one ticket, get one free. The password is BOGO, B-O-G-O. All right, you guys, it was a pleasure having you. I want to wish you a great, prosperous year. That's our theme of the year, actually, is being prosperous. And our duty is to help you get there. Thank you so much for joining us. God bless. And until next time, stay inspired. Bye now.